Establishing organization and systematic workflows is key to having a thriving business and a clear head. And that's what makes Assistant Pro so great. It's like a filing cabinet for your WordPress projects. In this course, we're going to start with the basics of getting set up with the Assistant Pro WordPress plugin and companion cloud interface. And then I'm going to show you all the cool stuff that Assistant Pro can do for WordPress practitioners to help you stay organized with page templates, color libraries, code snippets, and more. It's compatible with most of the popular page builder plugins. And it's made by the Beaver Builder team, so you know you'll get awesome support. So grab your free account and let's get started building a better WordPress workflow with Assistant Pro. Let's install the Assistant plugin to WordPress and link it up to an Assistant Pro web app account. So we're going to navigate to Plugins and Add New. Now we'll type Assistant into the search field and click on this one down here with the yellow pencil that says by the Beaver Builder team. And now we just need to activate it. And now when we go to the front end of our site, we'll see the welcome dialog from Assistant on the sidebar. And just a little side note, I'm working with a pre-release version of Assistant and Assistant Pro, so your interface might look a little different than mine. Okay, I'm going to use this little slider to navigate over to my Assistant Pro library settings. Another way to get to this window is by clicking here on the library's app icon. And this gives me the opportunity to create an Assistant Pro account, but I already have one, so I'm just going to connect it up. And if I click my little gravatar up here, it's going to take me to my Assistant Pro web app dashboard. All right, we're all done installing the Assistant WordPress plugin and linking it to the Assistant Pro web app. Let's take a little tour of the Assistant plugin interface together. I think it's pretty intuitive to figure this out. So I'm just going to click around a little bit and you can go do some exploring of your own. The home app that we're looking at right now is the nerve center of everything else. So it just gives you some shortcuts that you might find more detailed functions on the other tabs. But this is really handy. We can search our whole site for different terms. And we can also stack terms like this. And if we click onto one of these items, we'll get a bunch of actions that we can do. And I'll just click around a little bit to let you see what's available here on this home screen. And this area down here gives us a shortcut to our content. And when we hover over, we get these different action buttons. So that's the home app, and let's move on and talk about the content app. And this is similar to the content area on our home app, we just get more functions. I think it's worth noting that if you hover and pause over various tools in Assistant, you'll get these little tool tips that say what the tools are. So in a nutshell, the content app is a spot where we can manage and review our content all from one spot. And we can also add content to the cloud from the content app. And it's all pretty self-explanatory. I'll just click around a little bit so you can see some of the stuff we can do here. And if you use WordPress a lot, I'm sure you'll see this is a huge time saver. And this product is made by Beaver Builder and optimized by using the Beaver Builder page builder, but you can use it on any WordPress site. And it's really great for WooCommerce sites because you can see all your WooCommerce content as well. And we get some options by clicking onto a piece of content. For instance, we can save content to our Assistant Pro library here. So that's the content app. Let's move on to the media app. And I'm not going to go into too much detail here. It's very self-explanatory and similar to the content app. so I won't waste your time going into too much detail. If you'd like to add a piece of media to one of your Assistant Pro libraries, just click on the piece of media from the Media app and hit Save to Library down here. Now let's segue to the Comments app. And I don't have too many comments in here, but you can just perform all the basic functions that you might expect that you'd be able to perform on the back end of your WordPress site. And next up is the Updates app. And I don't have any updates available, but if I did, you'd see them there. And this is the fun new addition to Assistant, which is the Libraries app. And this is where we see all of the content that we've linked up to the Cloud Companion Assistant Pro. And if I click my gravatar here, it will take me to my Assistant Pro dashboard. And down at the bottom here is where we access all of our settings. Now I'll just take us back to our home screen. And this is how we hide and show the Assistant sidebar. So that's the end of our tour of the Assistant plugin for WordPress by Beaver Builder. Now I'm going to do a tour of the Assistant Pro interface. So over here on the left, you can see my libraries. And to create a new library, you just click the plus sign, name your library, and then hit the arrow over on the right here. And by clicking up here on my name, I'm going to see a thumbnail view of all my different libraries. So you can access your libraries either from the list on the left or from one of the thumbnail images. And from within the library, we have the opportunity to create collections. And once we have collections created, we also have the option to sort by collection. So let's create some collections so that you can see what I'm talking about. So I'm just going to create a collection for green clothes. And now I'll go back into the Library Items tab and add some green clothes to it. All right, I'm going to add this green dress to the collection green clothes. And while I'm at it, I'm going to create another collection from inside this dialog, and I'll call it formal. All right, let's add a couple other items to these collections. This one's going to go in green clothes, and this one will go into formal. Now that we have some collections, we have the opportunity to sort by collections, and there they are. If you're familiar with the way that categories work in WordPress, it's a lot like that. And the benefit to using this kind of system over subfolders is that we can cross-reference things into more than one collection. All right, well, let's take a look at the Community tab now. Since I'm working in a pre-release version, the community is just kind of budding at the moment. So we can expect that it's really going to take off once the product is released. But there's already some really great resources posted up here by featured designers, and you can see if I click here on the link to get to my profile, here's all my libraries. I'll click into one of these featured libraries here so that you can see how to utilize these assets. Now I'm going to subscribe to this one, and what that means is that if this library gets any updates or changes, I'm going to see those changes reflected in my dashboard. And you can see where Beaver Bank is now under shared libraries in my dash. Now I'll go back to the community so you can see how duplicating libraries works. So you can see the example we subscribed to under shared libraries. And if I toggle here, show all, designer here is the one that we duplicated. And so it's under my libraries, and I can change it however I want to and rebrand it and just use it as a starting point for a new library. So duplicates are good if you want to bring in an entire library. Subscriptions, on the other hand, are good for being able to access libraries that are continually being developed. So once Assistant is in production release stages, I'm sure we'll see some really great, exciting things happen here in the community. Let's move on to the account tab. So let's just go down the list here. General has all the basic stuff you might expect to find on an account page. And billing information is going to be where you set up the premium subscription if you'd like to do that. This is where you can reset your password. And next is where you can create teams. So I'll just create a team here so you can see how this works. Now that we have a team created, you can see that where my name and avatar used to display, there's a little drop-down menu that now shows my team name. So all the teams that you own are going to be accessed from the same account page that you access your personal settings from. And currently I'm the only member in this team, but I can invite members and I have some different options for permissions that I can give to these members. In addition to having teams, we can also just simply share libraries with people. So if I click into a library here, then I click on the Share tab and enter the email address and permissions that I want for that person to have for that library. If you want to transfer the library to somebody else, it's done over here in the Settings tab. So among other library settings, down here at the bottom is Transfer Library. And the last thing I'd like to point out is this little drop-down menu here from these three dots. And I think that's pretty much it as far as touring the cloud interface. Thanks for watching. Bye. I'm going to touch on how to add creative assets to Assistant Pro using both the WordPress plugin and the Cloud Companion web app. And we're going to start out in the Cloud Companion web app. I'm going to add a photo to this library. So if we click this little plus sign, we're given the opportunity to add colors and also images like JPEG, PNG, and also SVG. I'll just drag a random photo on here. Okay, now let's create a new library and add some media to that. And I'll start by adding a couple colors here. And I'll add an image to this Hello World library as well. Now let's check out how we get content into Assistant Pro from our WordPress sites. There's a ton of different types of content supported by Assistant Pro. We can do posts and pages that are both Beaver Builder and Gutenberg posts and pages, Gutenberg blocks, Beaver Builder, templates, saved columns, rows, and modules, and also WooCommerce products. And the list goes on. There's a handful of popular page builders that Assistant is supporting the content of. And because Assistant is still in development as I'm making these learning resources, I'm not totally sure exactly what's going to be supported, but I'm sure that that information will be readily available upon production release. All right, now let's get started adding some assets to the cloud. We could use one of these libraries that we were working with in the Assistant Pro dashboard, but let's just go ahead and create a new library here from the plugin. There's two ways to add page content to Assistant Pro libraries. You can either do it from the Libraries app or the Content app. And since we're in the Libraries app already, I'll show you how to do it from there first. So you type in the name of the piece of content that you want to add here into this field. Then you just click on the listing that you want to add and it will add it to your library. Now let's head over to another site and add a piece of content from a different site into this library. I have this page of placeholder content saved as a Beaver Builder template. So I'm just going to search for that here. It's called US Presidents Page Template, and there it is. Now let's add a photo and a color to this library, Hola Mundo. And I'm also going to import my theme settings. So after you've refreshed your browser windows, you'll be able to see the new items added to your libraries on your other sites, as well as the Assistant Pro Cloud app. So we've covered how to add content to libraries from the Libraries app. To add content to libraries from the Media app, just click on the piece of content that you'd like to add and hit Save to Library. Then you can select the library that you want to add content to from a drop-down menu. And the same process applies to page content. Select the piece of content, hit Save to Library, and select the library you'd like to save the content to. Let's head back over to the Assistant Pro Cloud dashboard, and I'm going to show you how collections work. I'm going to add a bunch of colors here just for demonstrative purposes. I'll just fast forward through this part so you don't have to watch me do that. So now I'm going to create 3 collections to organize my colors into: bright colors, pastel colors, and pink colors. Now I'm going to head on back over to the Items tab and add colors to these collections. So now I have the ability to toggle this menu so I can sort by collection or file type. So once I'm done tagging all my colors as either bright, pastel, or pink, this is what my Items tab looks like when it's sorted by collection. And I want to point out that you can cross-reference items under different collections like I've done with the pink colors. Well, I think that's just about it on adding creative assets to Assistant Pro. Bye for now. Here I have a new install of WordPress, and it has the Beaver Builder theme, the Beaver Builder page builder, WooCommerce, and Assistant installed on it. And what I'd like to do is add a hodgepodge of creative assets from other sites that I've uploaded to Assistant libraries. So the first one that I'm going to be working with is this one here called Beaver Jams. So I created a homepage design for Beaver Jams in another workshop, and I've added the theme settings and the styles from that site, as well as a page of lorem ipsum text that I grabbed off another site. Next, I'm going to be working with some more placeholder content. This is a collection of WooCommerce placeholder content, and I just added a bunch of lorem ipsum text with some stock images from Unsplash. Sometimes it's really nice to have some placeholder content in a site so that you can see how the archive pages are going to look once the content's populated. And I have a different set of placeholder content that is for blog posts. So let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is import this piece of content that just has a bunch of headings and buttons on it. I just want to point out that we have 2 options from this Create New drop-down menu. We can create and edit, or we can import. The import option will make the content available to you on the back end of your site, while Create and Edit will open up the page for you to work with right away. I'm going to go ahead and select Create and Edit. Okay, so this is how this looks with the default theme settings. Now I'm going to go in and import the theme settings from my library. And before I import this, I'm just going to quickly preview it, and it looks good to me. So let's apply these theme settings to our theme. Next, I'll add the library of WooCommerce products to my site. So for WooCommerce products and posts, we have all these same options that we did for the lorem ipsum text page that I imported earlier. We also have the option to import the entire library, and that's what I'm going to do here. And now I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing for this library filled up with placeholder posts that I have. And if you have images that are on more than one post, you don't need to worry about it because Assistant won't import duplicate images. And here's the post content that we just imported over here in the Content app. I'm going to head over to the media browser because I want to show you how we import SVG graphics. So if I try to drag an SVG file here, you can see that I get this error message because WordPress by default doesn't allow SVG graphics. But I wanted to show you real quick how we can add SVG graphics using Assistant. So we just upload it like any other piece of media, and there it is in our Assistant library. So I'm just going to click import to import that into my site. And if we go back to our media browser, there it is. Well, I love what Assistant Pro has done to improve my WordPress workflow. I hope you have fun using it, and I hope you've enjoyed this video. Bye! I use Beaver Builder on all the sites that I build, but sometimes I get asked to work on sites that have been built on a different framework. So even if I'm working on a site that's not a Beaver Builder site, I love using Assistant, but it's especially cool on Beaver Builder sites. So this video is going to be all about Assistant's functionality that specifically pertains to the Beaver Builder product line. So that's going to be the Beaver Builder Page Builder, Beaver Builder Theme, and Beaver Themer. So let's take a quick look at our Content tab because our Beaver Builder templates are going to be here under Templates, and our Themer layouts are going to be here under Themer Layouts. Another thing that we're able to do is pull in our theme settings. So I'm going to show you here in one of my libraries where I have the theme settings stored right here. And this will work with other themes as well, but since Assistant is a Beaver Builder product, special attention is paid to being compatible with the Beaver Builder theme and other Beaver Builder products. I'm going to take a quick moment to review how to save content in Beaver Builder Page Builder. So the first thing I'm going to point out is how to save a page template, and that's over here under the Tools menu, Save Template. So we just enter a name for our template and hit Save, but I'm not going to save. As well as page templates, we can also save rows, columns, and modules. So I'll just quickly demonstrate that for you, starting with rows. Just click down here where it says Save As, then enter a name for your row and click Save. I'm not actually going to save mine. The process is exactly the same for columns and modules. So I'll just run through the motions real quick so you can see what I'm talking about. These are the column settings where you'd save your column, and then I'm going to click here on this module, and same exact thing. You just click Save As, and that's how you save a module. And we can also save themer content in Assistant Pro. So we don't have to do anything extra beyond creating a themer layout. You create the themer layout, and then that's going to be saved as a themer layout on your site, and you can access it and save it to Assistant. So I'm going to circle back here to Assistant and show you how we browse for those things one more time. So here is where the templates appear in Assistant from this site. And here is where the themer layouts are that I have on this site. And there are two ways to get content up onto the Assistant Pro Cloud. The first way I'm going to show you is using the Libraries app, and then I'll show you how to upload content to the cloud using the Content app. So I'm just going to quickly demonstrate to you how to add a couple pieces of content from this site to my Libraries app, and then I'll stick them on another site. So I'll go ahead and navigate down to my Libraries app, and I'm going to create a new library for this demo. Okay, the first piece of content I'm going to add, I know that I have a call to action saved row here, so I can easily search for that. So the next thing I'm going to upload here to my libraries app is a themer layout. And before we move on, I'm going to show you how to upload content to the cloud from the content app. So just click on the piece of content that you want to upload. I'll upload a template. Then select Save to Library, and you'll be given the choice of what library you'd like to save that piece of content to. Okay, now that we have a couple of pieces of content uploaded to the cloud, I'm going to hop on another demo site and put those pieces of content on that site. So here's the library that we created on that other site. And I could import these one by one, but I'm just going to import the entire library. All right, now I'm going to close Assistant and launch the Beaver Builder page builder and add that piece of content to this page. From here, I'm going to navigate to Saved Rows, and there's my saved row here that I just imported from Assistant Pro. And that same process is going to apply to saved templates, saved rows, saved columns, and saved modules. So normally we publish, but I'm just going to discard this. Now let's add that Beaver themer layout that we put onto Assistant Pro from our other site. And we're going to find that here filed under Themer Layouts. My categories are set up differently on this site, so it has wiped out my settings, but I'll just have it post to all archive pages. So after I hit refresh, there's my themer layout here on my blog archive page. So that is an overview on the nuts and bolts of how to upload Beaver Builder content to the Assistant Pro Cloud and stick it on another site. What I'd like to do now is put this into context in a more practical way. Because simply put, Assistant is a tool for web designers to be able to quickly get their design collections up onto WordPress sites. So we're not typically going to be working with little one-off odds and ends like this. We're going to be working with entire libraries. So I'm going to head over to Assistant Pro and utilize one of the libraries that's been posted to the community. And I'm recording this video while Assistant Pro is still in beta, but there's already some really great content up here. And for this demo, I'm going to use this one called Designer by Paul Lacey. So now I'm going to head over to this fresh WordPress install that I have, and it has the whole Beaver Builder product line on it: Beaver Builder Page Builder, Beaver Builder Theme, Beaver Themer, and Assistant. And I've already refreshed my page, so when I open up my Libraries app, here it is. The first thing I'm going to do is import a Beaver Builder page template. And I'll just go ahead and launch Beaver Builder and add that to my page right now. And the next thing I'm going to do is add themer layouts to replace my header and footer. So here's the header. I'm going to import that. And now I'll go back and import the footer as well. And the header and footer themer layouts are already set to display on all pages, so all I need to do is refresh my browser window and they'll show up. There's a lot of potential here for these community assets. You can use them as is to build new sites, or you can use them as a starting point to create your own designs. And you can also start from scratch and create your own community libraries to share with the Beaver Builder community. Well, I think that's it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Bye! Let's take a look at how Assistant Pro works with WordPress's Gutenberg page builder interface. I have two sites prepared for this demo. This one that you're looking at here with a little bit of content on it and a blank one. So to make things easy, I'm just going to call the site with content site 1 and the blank site site 2. A lot of changes are happening with WordPress right now, so let's talk about that real quick before we move on. A few weeks ago, WordPress launched version 5.9, which introduced full site editing. So that gives us a few more options that are reflected here in the content app. Templates, template parts, and navigation menus. The reason I have these options is because I'm using 2022, which is a block theme. So I'm going to switch themes real quick to 2021, and you'll see that I no longer have those three options. So I'm going to just do the rest of this demo in the 2022 theme. All right, so I'm going to jump over to this page with a few colorful paragraphs, and we're going to take this page and stick it on our second site. We can use either the Libraries app or the Content app to stick content into libraries. And I'm going to go with the Libraries app this time. I've already created a library for this demo. So adding content from the Libraries app is just done here through this search field. We can jump over to our second site. And here from the Libraries app, we're going to navigate to that piece of content and select Create and Edit. That's going to open up the page for us to see. All right, now we're going to jump over to the first site, and I'm going to demo for you putting reusable blocks into Assistant Pro. So to add content to libraries from the Content app, just select the piece of content and save to library. Then select the library you want to save your content into. Now we can go into our second site, and we're going to add this block to this same page, the page that we added just a little bit earlier. So I need to first import this block onto my site. Okay, so now that reusable block is on our second site, I'm going to go ahead and go into the block editor and add it to this page. Let's take a template from our first site here and stick it onto our second site. And here we are in the Content app. This works the same as saving other pieces of content. You just select the library that you want to save your content into. And here's a blank page on our second site. I'm going to import that template and stick the template onto this blank page. And now we can go into the back end of the site and add that template. I'm just going to add in a little bit of lorem ipsum text to this page too. The exact same workflow is going to be true for template parts and menus that we saw for templates and reusable blocks. Stick the piece of content into a library on your first site, then navigate to that same piece of content in your Libraries app on the second site and import it. Once the content's imported, you'll see that it's also available for you to use on the back end of your site. Well, I think this is a good time to wrap things up. I hope you found this demo on Assistant Pro and Gutenberg useful. Thanks for watching. Assistant Pro is compatible with an assortment of different page builders. In this video, I'm going to demo the Elementor page builder. The first thing I want to do is point out that depending on the page builder that you're using, the content app items change depending on how your page builder organizes content. So you can see in this example that Gutenberg, Beaver Builder, and Elementor all work differently and use different terminology, and that's reflected in the Assistant Pro content app. All right, so I have installed Astra, Elementor, Pro, and Assistant on these two sites. The first one has some content on it, and the second one here is just a fresh install. So I'm going to create an Assistant Pro library to stick some content into. Then I'm going to save this page layout as an Elementor template, and I'm going to stick this template on my fresh install. So this layout could be imported as page content as opposed to a template, but I want to show you how Assistant Pro will accommodate the nuances of how Elementor works. All right, so the first thing we'll do is create a library to stick this demo content into. Now I'm going to launch Elementor to save this layout as a template. Now I'll head back over to the Content app, and you'll see that under my templates, this new template I just saved is here in the Content app. So now I'll go ahead and save that to the Elementor demo library that I created. All right, now we're ready to go back to my fresh WordPress install and put this page layout up on that site. And in order to get my page layout looking right, I'm going to have to set my home page to a static full width page. Now I'm in my Libraries app, and I'm going to import that piece of content onto my site. Now the content's on our site, and we'll be able to see it in the Content app under Templates. And of course, Assistant Pro is just mimicking the content that we have on the back end of our site. So now I can launch Elementor, and we will find that page template in our Elementor templates. So there's our template, and I'll load it up onto our page. So that's the end of this demo on Assistant Pro with the Elementor page builder. Today I'm going to demo Assistant Pro with the Divi page builder. There are two sites that I'm using for this demo. One of them has a couple page layouts built on it, and the other one is blank. So the first thing I'm going to show you is how to stick this colorful page onto the blank site. So I'll create a new library with Assistant Pro to stick my content into. And now I'll use this little search field here to search for my content. And here I'm going to stick it into my library. Next, I'm going to navigate to the Libraries app on my blank site and find that Divi demo library. Click onto the piece of content, and I'm going to select Create and Edit, which is going to import that colorful Divi layout onto my site and launch the Divi page builder. All right, so now we've taken a Divi page layout from one site and stuck it on another site. This time I'm going to do a page template. So I'm going to demonstrate the template functionality to you with this black and white layout. So I'll just save this black and white grid here as a page section. And I'll show this to you in the Assistant Pro Content app. It's going to be saved here under Layouts. So I'm going to stick it in my Divi demo library and put it up on that second site. And that's done here from the Libraries app. There's my Divi demo library, and I'm just gonna select and import this grid layout. And I just want to show you real quick before we stick it on our page that it's now on our site and we can see it from the content app. So now I can launch the page builder and add that section to this page. So that was a section template, and it's basically the same process for a page template. And the process doesn't really change. If your page builder is supported by Assistant Pro, the workflow is pretty much the same with any page builder. It's just the terminology changes. So if you're using Beaver Builder, or if you're using Elementor or Gutenberg blocks or Visual Composer or whatever, the workflow is going to be about the same. It's just that you'll see the terminology in your content app change a little bit to conform to the terminology of your page builder. Well, I think that's it for this demo on Assistant Pro and the Divi page builder. Thanks for watching. Bye. Today I'm working with Assistant Pro and Visual Composer. I've set up 2 sites for this demo. One of them has content on it, and we're going to take that content and put it onto this blank site. I'm running the premium version of Visual Composer on both of these sites. And I'm also going to be using the Global Templates Visual Composer add-on. So I'm going to put that on my second site right now. I've already put it on my first site. So now that we have that Global Templates add-on installed, we'll have this Global Templates option in Assistant Pro as well. Okay, now that I've showed you the Global Templates add-on, I'm going to go back to my first site with the content on it. So we have this layout here with the pictures of sand dunes, and then we also have a layout with some jungle pictures. So I'll use Assistant Pro to get my sand dune content over to the second site as page content. And for the page with the jungle pictures, I'm going to make that into global template content and import that onto my second site as a global template. So I'll start out by making a library to put my content into. Now I can put this page content with the dunes into my library straight from my libraries app. Now for my second site, I'm going to navigate to that library that I created earlier, Visual Composer Demo. I'll select the dunes page content and create and edit. Create and edit will import the content and also open up the page for me. So that was the page content demo. Now I'll demo global templates. So to avoid confusion, I'm going to return back to this placeholder page, and I'm going to jump over to our other site, the one with the page layouts. So I'll open up Visual Composer and save this layout as a global template. So last time I added content to the library from the Libraries app, and so let's do it from the Content app this time. So if we don't install the global template add-on, we won't see this. So that's why I went over that in the beginning of the video. To add content from the Content app, just click on the piece of content you want to add, save to library, and then choose the library that you want to add the content to. So I'm going to import this onto my site with Assistant Pro, and then it's going to be available to me on the back end of the site in Visual Composer. So that's the end of this demo on adding page content and template content to Visual Composer sites using Assistant Pro. Thanks for watching. Bye!